Hi guys! This is my tutorial for a glow-in-the-dark witch's potion tumbler. I have already sanded and prepped my tumbler using an 80 grit sanding block, and I am now ready to add my base colors. If you can't spray your tumbler perfectly, no worries, it will be covered by glitter, but remember to spray your handle really well so you don't miss any spots. While our paint dries, let's mix our glitters for our cauldron. Using 3 colors of glitter for this tumbler, so I'll be adding a tad more epoxy than normal to help me get a smooth ombre. Remember, when epoxy mugs, make sure you go over the handle a few times to get good coverage. To help our bubbly ooze blend in later, we'll be adding green glitter and using black glitter on the bottom to give the tumbler some depth. Of course, you do not have to do this, but we're trying to stand out in a crowd, and giving depth to our tumblers is an excellent way to do this. Let your glitter layer cure, and then we'll be ready for the next step. I sealed my tumblers with Krylon Triple Thick, and I'm now ready for my first coat of epoxy. For this coat, I'll be mixing in Cauldron, the perfect name for this glitter from PDB Creative Studio. This will add even more depth to our tumbler. I'll be adding it in the middle and lightly towards the bottom over the black. Let this layer cure, then add one more coat of epoxy for a nice and smooth finish, and then we'll be ready to add our potion label. I purchased the potion label on Etsy from the Chocolaterabbit. Search the shop name and scroll down a bit and you'll see Halloween Potion Label Assortment. This shop has some super cute Halloween themed labels, so if you don't want to use this particular one, they have tons to choose from. Once you have imported your label, I sized it at 3 inches, set my printer to the highest print quality, and I was ready to go. Next, let's cut our vinyl. Another way that you can use clear water slide on a dark tumbler is by placing a piece of white vinyl behind it. For this tumbler, I'll be sizing the vinyl circles at 2.9 inches, which is a tad smaller than the label itself. We'll also be using glow-in-the-dark vinyl to add extra effect to our tumblers. The vinyl brand I'm using is kinda thick, so to cut it, I'll be using the light cardstock setting for a nice clean cut. Now that we have our decals, let's add them to the tumbler. For the vinyl circles, I place them and press them going down the middle first from top to bottom, then side to side. I then press down the rest using my X-Acto knife to make small slits if any of the vinyl doesn't lay flat. I just cut right down the middle of the bubble, then use my scraper to flatten it out. Once placed, we're ready to add our water slide decal. I used Hayes water slide paper and sealed with Krylon triple thick until it had a nice glossy finish. While our water slide finishes drying, let's get our drip mixture ready. I'll be using 30 milliliters of medium viscosity artist resin and Nice and Thick from Counterculture DIY. After mixing the epoxy, I'll be adding the Nice and Thick until I get the consistency that I want. For this particular tumbler, I wanted chunkier drips, so I added a tad more Nice and Thick. For runnier drips, don't add as much Nice and Thick to your epoxy. When your epoxy mixture is the consistency of brownie batter and your test drips don't move, you'll be ready to add your glow mica and apply it to your tumbler. I wanted some super glowy drips, so I added a couple of hefty spoonfuls of mica powder. I wanted nuclear waste can see me from space brightness, so if you don't want that effect, definitely add a little less. For the bubbles, we'll be using Flatback pearls. I saw a fellow tumbler maker use these by gluing the pearls to their tumbler and then adding the epoxy on top. I cannot for the life of me find her name. If you happen to know, please shoot me a comment with her name below so I can give her credit. I believe she used pearlescent pearls for hers, but for mine, I just used the regular white ones and placed them around the tumbler in various spots on top of the current epoxy. Then covered them with more epoxy to make them look like bubbles about to pop out of the ooze. When you're done, remember to not put your cups back on your turner or your drips won't have those drippy edges. Just set them in a safe place and let gravity do its thing. If you happen to use less nice and thick for longer drips, you might want to babysit your tumbler to make sure they don't drip too much. Once our drips are cured, we can now clean our rim and seal our label and drips with a coat of epoxy. When adding your epoxy, really go over your drips and get into all the nooks and crannies so they are fully covered. My tumblers look perfect after just one coat, so I declared them done. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. Have fun making your glow-in-the-dark witches potion tumblers, and I'll see you again next time.